Crystal here with Jesus Speaks. You know, God gave us a lot of senses. He gave us the sight, He gave us taste, He gave us touch, just so many good things that He created us to experience this world. One of those senses is our sense of smell. I actually have a pretty good sense of smell, which may or may not be a good thing, or may not matter to anybody, but there are smells that I love, like the smell of my kids' heads when they were babies. Oh, melt a mama's heart. The smell of my grandma's cooking at Thanksgiving, the smell of cookies coming out of the oven for my girls, the smell of gardenias. There are smells that bring me joy. There are smells that I don't like so much. There are smells of onions when you cook onions and how it sticks on your hands for days. And the smell of when a kid leaves the milk in the car. Ugh, that's horrible. But that smell lingers, right? It's there. I remember when I was in high school, a bunch of our friends, we all worked at different restaurants. And literally we would get together when we got off of our shift or whatever. And you would smell like what that restaurant smelled like on that person. It had permeated their hair, their clothes, everything about them. They smelled, if they worked at a steakhouse, they smelled like a steak. If they worked, at a barbecue pit, they smelled like a smoker of barbecue. Smells, they kind of tell on you. Where have you been, right? What have you been doing? And the same is true for us. What do we smell like? Do I smell like maybe some things that aren't of God? Do I smell like, if I've been hanging out with some negative people, do I smell like negativity? That kind of stuff rubs off on you. Where we go, what we see, what we do, who we're with, who we spend our time with, it rubs off on us. And there leaves a smell. That's something that stays with us. And whether we know it or not, people around us that come around us can smell where we've been. Does that make sense? If we're in the presence of the Father, people know it. If we're in the presence of positivity, people know it. If we're in the presence of negativity, people know it. If we're in the presence of evil doings, people know it. I remember we were watching a show and didn't think anything of it, and it had a lot of curse words in it. And I thought, well, this is okay. Well, I'm watching this. It's not, not terrible or anything. And, curse words, we hear those everywhere, right? Blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Those words started being something that my mind was thinking when I started making sentences. That these words popped out of nowhere into my vocabulary. Now, whether or not they came out of my mouth didn't matter, but my brain was saying, hey, that's a word that fits in there. And I'm like, what in the world? And that's what it was. I had been spending time over here with stuff that wasn't of God. That stuff that didn't say, hey, I believe there's a better way to talk, to bring glory to God and glory to others. We don't need to use that kind of language. And so that's my belief. And so why would I go and hang out over here? Because I started to smell like it. It kind of permeated off me. Same thing. If you have friends that are positive, that they're always joyous, that they're always looking for the positive in things, you too will begin to do that. That people rub off on you. Experiences rub off on you. Spending time with the Lord will rub off on you. What do you smell like? What do I smell like? That's a real question to ask God. How do others view me? Do they think that I leave a fragrance that reminds them of the Lord? Or one that reminds them of the world? Just a question to ask ourselves. Jesus speaks. Be still and listen. Y'all be blessed.